Right, so this one's a little bit different. This is about koi clubs, and I think why you should join a koi club. So I spent the evening last night with about 25 koi enthusiasts and their partners. And it's just great that we can go along and enjoy each other's company. We get to talk all things ponds, and there's usually guest speakers, cake, tea, squash, that kind of stuff. So last night I went to the South Hants Koi Club, which is in Denmead Village Hall near Waterlooville, kind of Havant, Portsmouth way. That attracts people from the local area. It's an open club, so yeah, you can join. I'm sure you might have a club near you. If it's not that one, then there's plenty others out there. They are becoming less frequented, I think now probably. Things like the BKKS shutting down is a sign that koi clubs are a bit of a dying breed. So it's really important that we support those clubs and go along and get involved. I think it's really worthwhile for someone coming into the hobby to be able to go along and talk to seasoned veterans, I would say, people of experience, whether that's pond experience or fish health and all things relating to koi. There's a wealth of experience out there. I think it's really beneficial. Last night we spoke to a chap called Andy from Oase. He came along and presented, which is on next. So yeah, have a little look at this. This is Andy from Oase presenting to the South Hants Koi Club last night. I've cut out all the fun bits, so the raffle and the cake, that kind of stuff. However, right now I'm going to just put this on the screen. This is one reason why you should go to a koi club. This is one of the members, and this stuff is quite common. This is him falling in his pond, and we've all done it, right? We've all done it, but I think not many of us have probably got it captured on the screen. So I thought this was a good one to share. Yeah, proper, really great for him to share this, and yeah, he's a bit of a legend in the koi world. So yeah, you'll see how not to step over some wire around your pond. Here you go. So absolute classic, and we've all done it. So I'm really glad to be able to share that with you. It's quite funny, makes me laugh. The blue-green water that you just put in a pond treatment, like fluke treatment. So that was like malachite or something, and then he fell straight in it. So yeah, whilst I laughed a lot, everyone laughed. I think yeah, it's you can't laugh too much because it's happened to the best of us. So you can see behind me, been doing a bit of koi artwork. Been working on a few bits and pieces, which is interesting. And one more bit here, which is a bit more abstract, I think. So yeah, bit different. This started off as a landscape, Japanese landscape, Japanese kind of lake. I got halfway through it, I thought it looked a bit cartoony, a bit crap, so I actually completely scrapped it and ended up just going over the top of it completely. So this is the abstract version or a second painting over the top of another. I need to put a frame around it. I think that looked quite good, but yeah. So this one's a bit more Japanesey. Got a nice shower and a sankey there, and a bit of Japanese wording. So yeah, so that's where I'm at the moment. Doing a bit of artwork, keeping my pond ticking over. Things have definitely got colder, right? The weather's changed quite dramatically. I'm holding about 16, I think, at the moment, which is pretty good, considering 16 degrees. So yeah, not too bad down south. Yeah, check this out. This is Andy from Oase, talking about all things that Oase do, and yeah, just part of a koi club. So if you don't watch this, fine, but if you do, you know, hope you enjoy it, and then try and get along to a koi club. If it's not Southampton's koi club, get along to another one. Speak soon.
Well, welcome everybody. Some familiar faces, some new faces. I was trying to think when the last time I came along to do a talk was. I don't know if Dave would remember. Did I do one last year? I don't think we did. Would have been 2023. So forgive me if I'm a little bit rusty in my public speaking. But you know, being a salesman as a day job, I should be reasonably good. Really, what I'm here to talk to you about today is just give you a bit of an update on where Oase are in the industry, what we're doing in relation to fish keeping, koi keeping in general, and maybe a little bit about where we see the future going. There's plenty of plans in the pipeline as per usual with a big global company, and hopefully I can give you a few little snippets of information today. So put together a little agenda of a few things that I want to go through. Bit of a welcome. We'll do a little bit on new products for 2026. Bit of information on our koi campaign. A big project for Oase as a company globally, but particularly in the UK. And then I'd like to discuss or introduce you to three really key products that I've brought along samples of for you to have a look at. And what I'd like to do, what we'll probably do is split this into two sections. So we'll have the top three, then we'll break for a tea break, and then we'll go into the products. And what I'd like to do during the product demos is welcome everybody up to have a look. I'll put a couple of slides on the screen, but I'd really like to sort of get everybody's reaction, get everybody up on the dance floor, and have a little look at what we've got. Now, hopefully this might work. Would anybody like to come on a trip to the factory?
Yes.
So this is our headquarters over in northern Germany. We're about 3 hours east of Amsterdam, so not a million miles away from the airport. Very good location for shipping. But you can see a lot of what we do here as well. You'll see a lot of product testing. You'll see a lot of fountain displays, and you'll see a lot of people moving around. We have various indoor and outdoor display areas. We have manufacturing, we have assembly. So it's a fairly big place, and you'll see a lot of the storage as well. So all these machines, we have a manufacturing department that's sort of building particular parts for fountain displays. Some of you will know we have commercial arm to the business as well, where we do town centre fountains, hotels, shopping centres, and we manufacture a lot of those parts in-house. Huge display pond outside for our large fountains. And you fly over to the testing area where you've got multiple filtration systems running for weeks and months and years on end. One thing to mention as well, just to add to a lot of this, is that in the manufacturing and assembly process, staff don't always stay on one position. They will move around. So they might have a certain amount of time on pumps, but then they'll move to filtration systems. So nobody's ever doing the same job for a long, extended period of time. You see, we've got the drum filters being assembled there. Okay. So, brief flight through Oase, Germany, and we're into Oase new products for 2026. Now, I think most of you will be familiar with the FiltoClear pressurised filter range. The range itself has been around for a number of years now. I would say probably coming up on 2 decades, if not a little bit more, a little bit longer. Now, the additions for 2026 are 2 large pressurised filtration units for wildlife ponds of up to 60 and 90,000 litres. Koi ponds, suitable for around about 15,000 litres and 20,000 litres. So super large units. I was chatting to the technical manager for Oase UK a couple of weeks ago, and he went over to Germany to do some product training, look at the new products, check out the samples. And he came back, one of the main points that he remembered about the FiltoClear was that if you put him into the fetal position, he could get inside the filter tub. So what we have is 2 inlets, 2 outlets. We have 4 foam filter cartridges inside the bucket. We have large ultraviolet clarifiers, 84 watts and 120 watts of UV power respectively. Very, very easy to work with, very user friendly. Easy removal of sponges. We have a cleaning system that some of you may recognise, which is the handle here. So currently FiltoClear has a handle integrated into the lid. We have this separate here, partly for safety, but partly for neat and tidiness. Handle connects to each of these 4 sections here, which then drives the sponges up and down for your cleaning process. Your dial here relates to a sludge outlet. So your normal operation is you flow in and you flow out, inlet, outlet, sludge outlet. Turn the dial round, squeeze your sponges, and your dirty water is sent out of its own little outlet. So you can get rid of your dirty water while still pumping up and down in the chamber. So with the handle, you're pushing up and down, you're clicking into position, and you're pushing up and down on the filter sponges. Various different grades of filter sponges, from very, very fine to slightly coarser sponges. Obviously, you can change individual sponges if required, or you can change complete cartridges. So depending on the type and the size of waste that you're taking out, filter sponges can be changed as and when you need to. I haven't seen a sample myself yet, so it'll be very interesting to have a look at this, and I'd like to be able to bring one out to maybe an early koi talk next year if you've got one going on, or even drop it into one of the shops for people to have a look at. One additional thing is your drainage valve in the bottom. So if you ever want to drain the unit completely, you can drain out the whole filter unit. Aquamax Eco Titanium 33,000. Now, Aquamax Eco Titanium range, you may well have seen before. Anybody who was at the show will have seen these pumps on the stand. We have 3 models in the range. We have a 33,000 litre an hour, we have a 51,000 litre per hour, and we have an 81,000 litre per hour pump. Very, very low wattage. 33,000, this new model that we're bringing out for 2026. 30 to 145 watts, controllable either via smartphone control app or via a plug and play push button controller.
Is that proven? Because that is ridiculous for something that powerful.
We generally test pumps for anywhere between 3 to 5 years before we release them to the market. We put a lot of effort into ensuring that we've got the right wattage and energy saving costs, and the facts and figures are I trust the facts and figures that I'm given.
So I've got 20,000 litre
A Oase pump?
No, it's even the old Oase pumps like that.
Yeah. No, that's right. I mean, if you look at one of our 21,000 pumps, so the latest generation of Aquamax Eco Premium, the 21,000 is about 170 watts, if I remember correctly. So, you know, this is where we are in our development of super low wattage, but high performance pumps. Obviously, with the titanium range, you'll see there's a sacrifice on things like head height. Because we've put so much into the energy saving and making sure that we've got that low wattage, you do sacrifice a little bit of head height. But I mean, you know, for a system that doesn't require it, it's an absolutely brilliant choice. Things that we put into it are making sure that the water flows in a certain way through the pump. So from inlet to outlet, you know, it's not just a straight in and a straight out. There's a circular motion to it. There's almost like everybody says, oh, it looks like a turbocharger I'll put on the car. And it's the same sort of principle. How efficiently can you move that product through the pump? So your control is done via the back here. So we have you basically plug your controller into the back. This is a fully submersible connection. So plug and socket connection. This can go in the water or out of the water. All of our pumps are designed to be submerged or run dry sighted. And what you can also do, say again? No, all of ours you can throw in the water. You know, obviously with a big hole cut out the front of it, you're going to be struggling a bit. But for normal operation, you can put these in the water with no problem whatsoever. What you can also do is you can daisy chain pumps together. So if you had a large system, for example, and you were running two pumps on it, then all you do is you daisy chain in, you come out, and you link via a cable connection to your next pump. And that can then be controllable via a smartphone app.
With the controllable aspect, is that just turn it up and down, or is there any other data information?
The push button controller only gives you the ability to turn the pump up and down or turn on or off the seasonal flow control. Now, seasonal flow control is our little blue switch on the side of the pumps here. So all of our Aquamax premium and titanium pumps, along with the expert range, up to 81,000 litres per hour, have this option. Now the seasonal flow control allows you to turn on a function that will reduce the flow rate during the winter months. So as the temperature drops, water temperature this is, so obviously bear in mind if your pond's being heated, it's a fairly useless function. But if you're running without a heater, then 10 degrees water temperature, pump will drop itself down, so the flow rate is dropped down. And as the water temperature ramps up again in the spring and summer months, the pump will slowly ramp itself up in 3 stages. So if I remember correctly, it's something like 12 to 16 degrees, it will push up to around about 75–80%. Over 16 degrees, it will start to run at its full power. So it will never go from low power mode to high power mode. It will always go through that stage so as not to affect the pump too crudely. So that's a nice little cool little function that you can turn on and off via the controller, the push button controller. The smartphone app gives you a little bit extra because it will send you notifications. For example, if the impeller gets blocked with a bit of debris and it stops running, then you will get an email notification via your smartphone or tablet to say pump blocked. It's also easier access. So your phone is generally on you most of the time. You can then dial into your pump. Over a period of time, you can see things like RPM graphs. You can see how much the flow rate is running at. You can see what wattage you're running at. And it will gradually build a graph that you can dial into over a period of years. So you can see at particular times of the year or during particular situations what the pump has been doing, and you can potentially counteract what might be happening in the future. You can act before any problems might happen. Is that okay? That's enough enough detail. I'll go into a little bit more on what we call the Core 6 technology a little bit later, because I've got a couple of slides on it. The other thing that you'll see here, so seasonal flow control we classify as SFC. We also have an EFC function on the titanium pumps and all of our Aquamax Eco Premium and Eco Expert pumps. The EFC function is a sensor fitted to the pump that stops it from essentially from dry running. So if the pump has no water, it will recognise that it's got no water coming into it and shut itself down. So we often get this classic scenario where you've got a pump out of the water, you do a bit of maintenance on it, you stick it back on the table or on the ground, and you think, okay, well, I'll just plug it in and see if it works. And the sensor will try and rotate the impeller a few times, and you'll see this sort of backward and forward motion of the rotor and the impeller trying to move, thinking whether I'm in water or out of water. And it will try a few times, and eventually it will shut itself down as if there is no water being pushed into the impeller. What you'll see on these pumps is if you take them apart, there's a little bit of lateral movement on the impeller. So it will just move backwards and forwards a little bit. And if you've got water pressure pushing against that impeller, it says, okay, I must be in water, so off we can go. So it's, again, a nice little safety feature and good peace of mind. These new pumps should be available around about March time next year. So, yeah, we do 3 sizes in the titanium range. So we have 33,000, currently a 31, but let's concentrate on the new one. So 33,000 litres an hour, 51,000 litres an hour, and 81,000 litres an hour. So those are the 3 in the titanium family, and they all have the same sort of look about them. Obviously, the 33 is newer, so there is a slightly more slicker design. Actually, one of the other things you just reminded me, and looking at the picture here, you can see here that the housing can be rotated. So depending on your setup, you can move the front housing around to make it a little bit easier for your current pipe work or your accessibility. Another new product for next year is our level control. Some of you may be aware that we already have a level control or an auto top-up system in our range. Let's just say that it's reasonably pricey, and there have been the odd one that has a little bit of a fault. And I'm not, I'm not telling tales out of school here. It's one of those things that if you install it in a certain environment, there's always going to be those little niggly things that you get, like a little bit of frost getting into the electrical connection. So what all of that proves is actually that we admit our faults. And what we do is we put all of that feedback over a period of time into developing new products and making them better. So the level control has a few new features. It's a lot more suited to the environment that we have here in the UK, and certainly for our customers in the Northern Hemisphere. Very, very useful, with a bit more protection against things like frost, protection against debris, a much better solenoid valve, and a cheaper price as well. Now this is an electrical level control, but we also have a very, very simple auto fill kit, very much like a miniature version of a toilet cistern bulk hole. So for anybody looking for a really, really super simple system that's really neat, the float is only that sort of size, so fits into an environment quite nicely. It doesn't look out of place anywhere. But even with the electronic one of the advantages of these ones here, and I've yet to ask the question to our German colleagues, but this bit here, a switching hysteresis prevents unwanted refilling in the event of waves. Now, one of the things that people have done over the years is install these into drum filters. And the way the drum filter works is on a water level sensor, so the water level is constantly up and down. And if you've got a level top-up installed in your drum filter, then you're getting readings that are all over the place, and you're topping up and not topping up, and then you're topping up and then you're not topping up. So what I'm looking forward to is just getting a little bit more information on how this works with waves.
That's like the current model. I think that's a sensitivity thing.
Yeah.
So it waits for a certain amount of time
to work out. Yeah.
That's a function you have on your.
Yeah. So we'll wait and see on that. Any more questions on the new products? I mean, you think back of quite a few years, we'd be launching 10, 15, 20 new products in a year. The difference these days is we've really sort of scaled back and focused in on certain types of products. Where are we missing a few little gaps in the market? How can we, or gaps in our own range, how can we add into what we already have? And that's what you kind of see us doing now, is rather than just releasing an absolute barrage of new products, some of which really aren't relevant in the market, really focusing in on what we should be doing and the products that people need.
You know the new pumps, you said they don't find that. Is that compatible with all the old stuff as well?
Well, yeah, it depends what you've got. If you have a product that has been plugged into the app originally, then yes. So if you have the Oase control app, then older products with that control technology can be plugged into the app, and new products can be plugged into the app as well. So everything should be available on that smartphone app. If it's got that Oase Oase control capability. But if you're in any doubt, just have a little look. In the catalogues, there's like a little symbol that says Oase control.
Yeah.
Anything with Oase control.
I've got a drum that's about 7 years old now. Is the ECG one, the old?
Yeah.
So I just wonder if that's compatible with that. I don't want to get it wrong.
OC is the new name for the old EGC. So EGC used to stand for Easy Garden Control when we first launched that sort of app-controlled compatibility or connectivity. Oase control is now like that system. So it's pretty much the same system, just with a different name. Yeah. The really old drums, if you've got like one of the original drums from, let's say, 2011, 2012, maybe even going a little bit more recent, you wouldn't have the smartphone data connection. So yeah, so on the old drums, they didn't have these plug and socket connectors. So that's, if you've got a really old one, then that you can upgrade with a controller. It costs you a little bit because you've got to buy like the brain of the unit, but otherwise you can upgrade to the new system and have it all dialed into your app. So, what have we been up to this year? As you can see, big banner at the back here. We're focusing, Oase as a company are focusing on koi keeping. We believe that over the next 5 to 10 years, we see growth in koi keeping. We see a lot more interest in breeding programs in Japan. We see a lot more interest in people, when I say people, I mean sort of consumers, wanting to take a step away from their working lives, whatever else might be going on in the world, and creating a pond environment. There has been really sort of rapid growth in YouTube influencers, bloggers, vloggers, whatever it may be, and that's from a single person to retailers, shops, brands like ourselves, really pushing out into the koi keeping community. And that's kind of our goal, is to build with multiple partners a much bigger community, specifically around keeping koi. So we've done a few things over this year. We've done some giveaways and competitions. Some of you may well have seen at the show a few weeks ago. We had a QR code that you could scan on our little banner here, and that would enter you into a competition. Supposedly the winner will be announced this week, I think. So if you've entered, best of luck. We've done some online competitions as well via the website, where again you can fill in your details, and you were able to win equipment worth up to €7,500 or £6,000, something around that figure, for a brand new pond construction. So do keep an eye out for that. If you're on the Oase website, if you're looking through our socials, we have an official Oase Koi Community Facebook page. It's a private page, or private community, but it gives members a chance to showcase ponds, fish, equipment they're using. We have the Koi Experience, a dedicated page or section on the website, where we show videos of koi ponds around the world. We have equipment suggestions for various volumes of water, whether it's pump fed, gravity fed, recommendations on how to install Oase equipment, creating and purchasing an Oase system. We also have on that Koi experience page, via the Koi hub, we have a dealer search as well. So if you're looking for a retailer, a customer in your local area who will have a complete array of Oase equipment, including drum filters, Aquamax pumps, lighting, air pumps, you name it, you can find those dealers on our website. Like anything online, tap in a postcode and it will throw up a number of retailers in your local area, up to a radius of about 100 kilometres, I think. Koi show presence, obviously, again, as I say, some of you will have seen us at the show a few weeks ago in Maidstone. This was the national show, I think. I wasn't at that one personally, but a number of colleagues were. Influencer videos. So in the bottom right-hand corner there, that is the guys from the Koi Perspective. And they recently visited, or this was back in July, I think it's a customer called Wold's Animal Group, based in the Midlands, or North Midlands, Staffordshire, I believe. We're doing more of that. What have we got? We have some video highlights, but we're working with a number of influencers as well. So for example, the Koi partner, the Koi Perspective. We've done a few bits and pieces with Koi Soldier. We've done Koi Whisperer, a few bits and pieces with those guys. So we're making ourselves accessible. We're working with various people. We're trying to grow our brand along with, in general, good husbandry, koi keeping, appreciation, buying the right equipment, buying the right system. So feel free to dial in. Has anybody looked at any of our web, socials, videos? Anybody been on that already? Feedback? Any feedback? I would encourage people to get involved. We are really looking to build a bit of a community to try and bring people on board. And like I say, encourage some new ideas, some new people into the hobby, some new ponds, some new systems. So check us out. You can access a load of material online. It's on next thing. Yeah, so we're good to go. You can access a load of material online. There are some really cool videos on YouTube. This one, for example, was done with the Koi partner. It was a video from a couple of years ago, but we have uploaded it to our Koi Hub channel. We have recently seen one that's been uploaded. If anybody's into Formula One, there's a video of Jean Todt's Koi pond. Used to be the principal at Ferrari. Another video that's just been uploaded recently. Another one from the Koi partner I watched this morning. There's a sort of 40-minute documentary where Ivo goes to Japan, visits Dainichi, visits Issa, Koi farms, and almost asks himself the question, what does the future look like? The guys over in Japan are noticing higher demand, busier viewings in the farms, a little bit, maybe a little bit less respect from people that are coming over. So they are starting to recognise, and certainly some of the influencers are starting to recognise that maybe we've got to be a little bit careful with how we push forward all of this demand and create this new interest. But in the meantime, there's, as I say, a lot of material that you can access, and we hope we're kind of doing this in the right way, and making it a lot more accessible and hopefully bringing people on board. So we've got literally like 2 minutes, but if you want to have a look, I'll throw this on. This can play in the background.
Pick up the 40 data SIM from O2. I travelled to London to visit the most.
This is 9 minutes, so feel free. We can start to have a little break in a couple of minutes, but have a little. This is the sort of thing that we're.
And what that means and how you can apply it yourself, I will show you today at this gigantic villa in Holland Park.
What's up, guys? Today we are in London, UK, Holland Park. We're probably visiting one of UK's most beautiful parks.
Has anybody seen this video before?
Yeah.
You have?
Inside, we made an amazing garden. This is the living room from James and Louise. They're originally from Hong Kong, China. They live here now for 2 years, and this is actually a great place because today, guys, I'm going to show you and introduce you to this epic koi pond in the middle of Holland Park, Western London. And Tony and I, today, guys, I'm with Tony as well from Koi Water Barn. Thank you so much, Tony, for bringing me to this amazing garden.
Absolute pleasure.
So what can you tell us about the design of the koi pond, about the aesthetics?
Yeah, the design of the pond, including the 4 windows, we've got double laminated 21mm laminated glass, 2,500 gallons with double Oase L filtration, Oase pump, Oase UV, which keeps the pond as clear as you can see. The windows need cleaning once a week. Got the collection of fish from Sakai. We have a 3.5-year-old Aka Karashi here. Beautiful 90 cm chancho. Fish from Momotaro, Sakai, Dainichi, Isa. Real great collection, and a collection that the James and Louise spend a lot of time sitting at this beautiful table here with their kids and their guests, enjoying the beautiful Japanese koi. So this pond was constructed and the filtration installed by Darren Matali from Oase. Darren is a perfectionist when it comes to koi ponds. As you can hear, the filtration system for Oase system, which gives you a clean water guarantee, we can't hear the pumps at all. All you can hear is a little bit of water coming through the waterfall there, which gives a real zen feeling to the garden, and you can enjoy the whole pond system without noisy pumps ruining the whole thing for you. So yeah, all in all, stunning pond.
And there's something special about this pond, and I will try to explain it, but Tony can explain it better, because Louise and James are from China, and they have designed this koi pond via
It's feng shui principles.
feng shui principles.
Feng Shui is an ancient Chinese art of arranging buildings, objects, and space in an environment to achieve harmony and balance.
That's really just a snippet of what we're kind of up to. You know, some of these videos are uploaded to our website, and some of them you can, because they feature a lot of Oase equipment, and some of them you can access just via YouTube in general. But feel free to go and check it out, like and share things. Come and join us in the community that we're trying to build. And that is time for a tea break. What I want to talk to you about is Duo Boost, and I think I may have just got the numbers exactly right. Sample for everybody to take away. There's 18. So I think there's 21 here tonight, so we might just be all right if there's couples. But yeah, samples to take away. Would really appreciate any feedback. If you can get it to me somehow, that would be great. Basically, you've got two key points to the Duo Boost. It's a bacterial gel, which we aim to reduce nitrogen compounds, stimulate degradation of organic pollutants, and activates filter bacteria. So it's really providing the food for the filter bacteria. The next thing is the mineral ball. So you've got trace elements and co-substrates, things that aren't necessarily present in artificial ponds, but also no microplastics left behind when it degrades and dissolves. And for ease of putting into ponds and filtration systems, there's a mesh bag provided as well, so a drawstring mesh bag, so it's not floating all over the place. We sell this via our retailers in a 2 centimetre ball, which is suitable for up to 30,000 litres. And we have a 5 centimetre single shot ball, which is suitable for up to 20,000 litres. Now those are in the small tubs here. We also have a 2.5 litre tub of the 2 centimetre balls as well. So you'll see these in various local retailers. Obviously, as I said earlier, pop onto the website, you'll be able to find a local Oase dealer who will have these in stock. Love you to take the samples away and send us any feedback. I guess via Dave maybe, or even via the club. We can collate some feedback, would be great.
Is it seasonal? Is it a certain time of year?
It's a little bit of a ambiguous dosing method. It can be done at various times of the year. So it's not like our filter bacteria, which is called BioKick Premium, which can only be used when the water temperature is above 10 degrees. You can use this at any time of the year. Obviously, in the sort of spring and summer months when the pond is starting to become active again, if it's not a heated environment, then it's going to be at its most effective. What I would suggest is that you use it in conjunction with a filter bacteria. The more you dose with this, the more free roaming bacteria you'll have in the water. And what you'll see is a cloudiness and a tinge to the water clarity, which is basically the filter bacteria, the living filter bacteria, not keeping up with what these guys are doing. So these guys are eating away what's in the water, free roaming bacteria in the water, but the filtration's not quite keeping up with it. So you kind of need to make sure you're counteracting a dose of this with a live filter bacteria or some equivalent. Next product we've got is pond pads, or as everybody likes to call them at the shows, crisps. Filter media that is supplied as standard with our XL drum filter systems. Super high surface area. We did a comparison with our Helix, and the facts and figures are quite interesting. Helix has a surface area of 800 meters cubed per 1,000 litres, meters squared per 1,000 litres. 5,000 for the pond pads. Slightly different material, so we've got a softer material, the pond pads. So they're crushing less or fewer particles. So they're actually staying cleaner and staying clearer for that bacteria to work. They're obviously very thin, so they can kind of work their way in between Helix and various other filter medias that you might be using. Very simple point, it's white so you can see the settlement, you can see what's going on with it. But probably one of the key key selling points for us as a brand and a manufacturer is that 60 litres of Helix will break down approximately 400 grams of food in 24 hours, whereas the pond pads will break down approximately 1,200 grams of food in the same period of time. So we're 194% more effective than the Helix.
So do you use them instead of Helix, or use them as well as Helix?
You can use either or. So we have a handy chart if you ever need it. So if you have a drum filter or a moving bed filter already, then we have a maximum amount of Helix, a maximum amount of pond pads, and a maximum amount of combination. So for example, in the XL system, in the XL drum, our max amount of pond pads is 100 litres with an additional 50 litres as a sensible suggestion, so that you're not cramming too much in there and you end up with some sort of dead spots where it's not quite moving around. But we've got that information if you need it. Just give us a shout. You can either speak to me at the end or speak to our technical team and they'll give you the facts and figures. You can buy this in 20-litre bags. You will probably see some 10-litre bags online. We discontinued the small bags a couple of years ago. So 20-litre bags are what you'll see online or at various retailers. Next is the Core 6 technology. So this is new technology from 2024 in our Aquamax pumps. So that's across the Aquamax range, Aquamax Eco Premium, and some of our Aquamax Eco titanium pumps as well. Packaging, as you'll see in the shops, and some of the important facts and figures. One of the things I like to pick up on are magnets. So traditionally, our pumps were fitted with a couple of magnets. And as the impeller spins, the electrical current that's passing through the pump, passing through the windings, you get almost like a little sort of gap between those magnets. So your impeller slightly jerks. I mean, you wouldn't notice it by the eye, but on observation over in Germany, we noticed that there was sort of slight jerky movements to the impeller. And over time, very much like if you've got a buckled wheel on a bike or a car, you'll see that wear in an uneven rate. So we now have 4 magnets, so it's picking up a really nice signal all the way around as the impeller spins. Windings, 6 of them to cut down on noise. The impeller is what the catalogue will say is potted, which basically means the impeller is in a casing, so securely housed, and that protects the impeller construction. It stops it from rattling around again. We have ceramic bearings, so we don't go for the cheapest material, but we go for the most reliable material. And even things like the shape of the blades in the rotor, the way the blades are configured on the front of the motor, the front of the impeller, all of this goes into reducing friction, improving water movement, water performance, and effectively moving that water as in a most energy efficient way. Yep.
So, a pump with a lower head height and a pump with a higher head height, you'll see a difference in the actual design of the impeller and blades?
Yeah. Yeah, so from, you mean sort of from generation to generation?
I'm just thinking like a titanium with a lower head height and maybe an expert with much higher head height. You can actually see that by looking at the
I mean, yeah, the impeller design is completely different on a titanium compared to a Aquamax Eco Premium or an Aquamax Eco Expert. Some extra little selling points, dry installation. So most of you will have come over to the table. To make things a lot easier, we provide a little cradle for the pump to sit in. So these can be dry sighted. The connection in the back for the Oase or Oase control system. Now this is new for the 2024 versions and beyond. So if you have a slightly older version of an Aquamax, you won't have that electrical connection in the back that you can plug in your controller. The secondary inlet or suction point, really only useful if you're submerging these in the pond and you want to connect a separate skimmer in a submerged environment, literally by moving this from side to side. Seasonal flow control, which we've spoken about, and your little adapter here. If you want to link two pumps, you can plug in your link adapter and then you can split off into another pump or a drum filter or a set of lights. And this can all be controlled via the smartphone app, via voice control, or just tapping away at your keypad. And it brings us finally on to the Oase control system in general. So we kind of touched upon this earlier. We were talking about the app and what it does and how it works and what can be connected to it. But it's a really cool little system that works off the garden controller. So the garden controller is your hub. Connection cable from the controller to item number 1, which in this case is our drum filter. So we link in via the controller at the bottom. We come out of the drum filter into our Aquamax Eco Titanium, into the back of the pump, and then we link from the pump into a set of lights, for example. In this case, you could go into another pump, you could go into another drum filter, but you can link up to 10 items across 100 meters of cable. Those are your limitations. Connection cables are available in 2.5, 10 meter and 30 meter. For joining cables, you'll need this connector. All of these connections are fully submersible, so you can run everything underwater if needed. And a little example of what the house can look like with everything connected with your Oase control. This is also available to link into any fish tanks. So for people with aquariums indoors, these can all link together as well. Now, it all runs via a cabling system, so you've got to take that into consideration, but it is the same app. You could actually have two slightly different systems and you just have to tap out of one into another one. There's two ways that you can access the wireless signal as well. You can either have a direct access mode where you tap into your garden controller directly and come off of your home Wi-Fi, or you can piggyback off of your home Wi-Fi. So your Oase system can be accessed all the time rather than coming off of your home Wi-Fi and logging onto your Oase system. I'm done talking. Come up and have a look at some products, ask me some questions, interact, and grab your samples.